Now coming on to the problem 2 of experiment 2, we have a drive have multiple disks, a hard drive contains many disks, and a floppy drive contains one disk. A disk is divided into tracks, which are in turn subdivided into sectors. A file system may use multiple disks, and a disk may be partitioned across file systems. Similarly, a disk may contain many files, and a file may be partitioned across many disks. A file system consists of many files. Each file has an owner, permissions for reading and writing, date last modified, comma size, and checksum. Operations that apply to files include create, copy, delete, rename, compress, uncompress, and compare. Files may be data files or directory files. A directory hierarchically organizes groups of presumably related files. Directories may be recursively nested to an arbitrary depth. Each file within a directory can be uniquely identified by its file name. A file may correspond to many directory file name pairs such as through Unix links. A data file may be an ASCII file or binary file. Now moving on to the diagram, we can see that the class file has various attributes and methods. Since the program asks each file to have certain attributes and methods, we have the attributes name like name, date last modified, size, permission, owner, checksum, and method we have create, copy, delete, rename, compress, uncompress, and compare. Now this class file according to the problem can extend its property to the data file or directory file, thus acts as a parent class to them and form a generalized relationship with them. As our problem states that a data file may be ASCII or binary file, we have generalization between two where the data file acts as a parent class and the child classes are ASCII file and binary file. Now looking at the class drive, we can see that we have a floppy drive and a hard drive which are inheriting their properties from drive, thus forming a generalization relationship. Now coming to floppy drive. Floppy drive is related to a disk with an association relationship and multiplicity of 1 to 1, since our problem says that a floppy drive can have a disk only. Now coming on to hard drive. Hard drive is related to a disk with an association relationship and multiplicity of 1 to 1, since our problem states that a floppy drive can and the multiplicity of 1 to many, since our problem states that a hard drive can have many disks. Now, as per the problem class, this is related to file system and track pattern with association relationship and multiplicity of many to many for the file system, and and 1 to many for the track. And lastly, we find an association between track and sector with a multiplicity of 1 to many, and another association between file system and file with a multiplicity of 1 to many.